Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today I, Bancroft, being joined once again by Trevor, who, as you can tell by the thumbnail, has brought a blast from the past, an old favorite of mine as well, Majin Buu. So like always, there's buttons down below, feel free to click them, they're there for a reason. But Trevor, let's take it away.
Yeah, so I played this a little bit back in set 9, less than other people did, even though I love Buu, mostly because I just typically don't play black. But I decided to bring it back because I thought it'd be good in some matchups, but it's clearly really bad in others, as I was rudely reminded of tonight. I went 2-1 with it still, so it's still doable. It's just, if you get a bad matchup, it's going to be rough. So, basically, when this card attacks, draw a card, and then this card gains 5k for the turn. If you go second, as long as you don't start with 3 extra cards in your hand, you can awaken turn 1. Easy peasy. And I actually have something in the deck that helps when that does happen, to guarantee that you awaken turn 1. Awaken. When you have no cards in your hand, you may draw 3 cards, choose 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand, flip this card over. So he's 15k here, you awaken, now he's 20k on the first swing, plus all the cards are comboed. So they're not going to combo out of it. On this side, if you have no cards in your hand at the end of the turn, draw 5 cards. Activate main, choose 1 card in your hand, place it under this, or in your drop area. So that's a way to get rid of cards from your hand. You can either choose one of your opponent's battle cards when you cost a 3 or less, place it under this card. Or this card gains 5k duration power for the turn. This activate main is not once per turn. If your opponent's playing skillless package, just drop all 5 cards, take all of their skillless, or gain 5k. It's really helpful. Came in handy against a couple decks tonight, but it's not always super helpful, but the plus 5k always works out. Just decided to start with the super combo, Bibbidi. Plus 15k once you have 12 cards in the drop. You'll probably have 12 cards in the drop after like turn 2 or 3. Self-explanatory. So this is the card that I've added to help ensure turn 1 that you can awaken if you go second, or turn 2 as well. That way if you get stuck with too many extra cards in your hand, he allows you to activate main, drop a card. Boom. On top of the leader, you can combo off the rest, charge 1 extra card, play him, use the activate main, drop the other extra card. You're pretty much going to awaken turn 1 regardless if you go second. His plus 1 occasionally comes up if I'm really searching for something. If I've not seen like my 2-drop Buu yet, I might use the plus 1. But I do typically use the plus 2. And the reason I use the plus 2 is I want as many markers on this card as possible, because permanent during your turn, this card gains plus 5k for every 2 markers on it. I had this at 8 markers today. On top of all your other crazy high swings, this becomes another crazy high swing. It just adds more pressure to your opponent. Which brings us to our counter package. I had Protect for the People higher than 2. I don't like it in this deck. Because a lot of the times on your turn, you're probably going to tap out because it's too risky to draw 5 at the end of the turn and hope you hit this. If you do hit it and you still have 1 energy, cool. But I'm kind of wondering if I even need to just drop this completely and just go for Power Burst. Reason that is Power Burst, you don't have to have an energy because you're going to have the sparking, and you're going to be at 6 life in most cases, so you just use this against a double strike or a triple strike. And just take the life instead. I tried this at 3 or 4 of tonight. Again, it's an extra card, but it has the Activate Battle, so it still works out. I just don't think I need to see it too terribly often, and I would rather see other cards. Permanent, you can use this Activate Battle from your hand without paying its energy cost, which its Activate Battles plus 5k. I did use this to remove an opponent's card today by tapping 3. It ignores barrier and sends it to their warp. So it's just nice to have a little bit of removal outside of the leader. Tekken 2 Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. Everybody knows what this card does. I don't use the take a life because I'd much rather just keep my life as high as possible and use it for Power Burst. But the top auto Every time somebody or I guess it's the bottom auto. Every time somebody plays a battle card with energy cost of 15k or less using a non-keyword skill, they have to place 2 cards from their hand in their drop. This came in handy against Blue Baby tonight, as he tried to use his Toas to play cards from his drop, so that they came in skillless. So he had to drop 4 cards every single time he did it. Of course, he still drew a ton, so it didn't really matter, because of the way that my game kind of turned out. I think I could have played it better, but this card is always going to be good. So this brings us into some of the consistency packages, as I like to call it. Majin Buu Virtuous Demon. Turn 1, if you don't see Piccolo, chances are you're playing this to look for your 2-drop, because you have to see your 2-drop to actually get your chain going, so this is going to be what you search with it. Top 7. It's fairly consistent, especially since I lowered the number of cards I have in the deck from where I was playing tonight. This is just a great card for finding your start. Babidi, Unrepentant Sorcerer. Chances are this is going to be a way to start that chain for less cost. Play it for 1, drop a card, choose a Pui Pui, Majin Buu, Yakon, Dabura from your drop area, play it. Typically, I find myself using this to get Pui Pui out on the board because I have other ways of getting out the 1-drop. This makes it to where if you have 2 or less cards in your hand, your opponent can't use counterplays, so your Boos are hitting the field. It's just all there is to it, because they can't even activate them. So that just stays in their hand. They can't use Trunks. They could Trunks this, but if they Trunks this, then that's great. You'll play it a different way later on in the game. So the consistency package continues. Fu mission accomplished. Activate main. Tap 2, remove this card from your drop. Choose 1 battle card with an energy cost of 7 or less. Add it to your hand. Typically, you're going to get this back. The reason you want to do that is because he's a 1-drop, so you play it for 1. So it allows you to go back out. You'll either get Pui Pui or you'll get Boo, whichever one you don't currently have on board. Malicious Mimicry, more consistency. Chances are you're probably going to drop this off your leader effect or with Piccolo. Get it in your drop, tap 2, follow your energy as black, choose 1 card from your drop area, send it to your warp, then choose 1 card in your hand, place it in your drop, play your Boo.
Boo.
This is the guy that starts the chain. Activate main, if all of your energy is black and you have no cards in your hand, you may place this card in the drop. When you do so, choose 1 Black Majin Buu card with the G cost of
Those are some of my favorite books.
3 or 4 in your drop area and play it. If you have 3 or more energy, choose up to 1 Buu with energy cost between 3 and 6. So you can't just go straight into the 6 on an early turn, but come turn 3, you can go directly into the 6 if you want to. There are some matchups where you want to do that. I'm just going to lay all these out for the sake of brevity and time. For turn 3, you're going into this dual attacker. When you play this card, you can't play him again for the turn. If you have no cards in your hand, choose up to 1 Black Majin Buu card in your drop area between an energy cost of 3 and 6, played on top of this card. So you'll dual attack, swing. Then you will most likely choose one of your 6 drops if this is played on turn 2. If it's played on turn 3, you will choose one of these 2. This one's a double striker. The rest of this is literally the exact same text. You can't play it again. And you can't play it unless you have 3 or more energy. This one's crit version of it. Literally the exact same thing. Now for the 6 drops, we have 2 options, and I do run both of them. It really depends a lot on the matchup as to which one of these you're going into. If you know you're playing against somebody that's trying to win on turn 2, with a really tall card, Sen Shenron comes to mind. you're going to play this. Because if they play a battle card greater than their energy, you take this, you place it in your drop, you choose one of their cards with energy cost greater than, or then you just choose any of their cards and remove it. It does not get around barrier because you have to choose it, but this is just a phenomenal card. It forces your opponents to play around it. In matchups where your opponent's going to frequently draw off of non-leader card effects, that's when you use this. Dragon Ball or Wish leaders. In the case of my match against Jimmy, baby, the Dark Parasite balls. So any tap, play it for one, draw one. This hits all of that. As long as this is in rest mode, they can't use that. So you do have to play around it if you're going against somebody that will possibly run a floodgate, such as Violent Rays or Son Gohan brainwashed baby card. You will immediately want to go from the 2 into the 6 because you're expecting them to play it because you have no cards in hand to do that anyway. So you swing with this, they'll counter it, who cares? On their turn, they can't draw off stuff. The win con of this deck is typically this card. Tap 3, activate battle. If this card gets plus 10k and triple strike for the duration of the turn, you can, on turn 3, win with this card because you'll get this triple strike with all the other swings. Especially if you play it on turn 2 and you have this in your hand, you can be really, really greedy because your opponent may not be expecting it. So you'll swing with this. They'll let it go through, or they'll negate it. And you'll swing with your leader. So if they don't negate that one, then you activate battle here. So against the 10k and triple strike, and then this activate main, choose one Majin Buu card in your battle area, place this card underneath it from my hand. If you have no cards in your hand, this restands. So it's a 30k triple striker. That's basically a dual attack as long as you have this in your hand. I've not been able to pull it off because I'm so rusty with this deck, but there were a couple times looking back that I should have done this. So that is my Majin Buu, one with the nothingness.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Trevor. Like always, keep in mind there's buttons on the screen as we do this outro, but hey, read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.